Good morning from Barnstaple. A lovely, not quite summer, spring morning here, and with Tina Orr-Munro, who I'll say a few more words about you in a moment or two, Tina, but you've brought me to the Tarka Trail.
I have.
And this board here describes walks from Barnstaple station. Now, part of what we're going to be talking about here is a book that you've just written. So the Breakneck Point and Ali, goodness me, Ali Diamond. I forgot her name. I do apologise.
Good local name,
good.
Diamond.
So, CSI Ali Diamond, the key character in your inaugural crime novel, Breakneck Point. This is pretty much her patch.
Yes, it is.
And in Barnstaple. So, good thing for us to start here. And you'll tell us a little bit about about Ali Diamond as we walk along. But we don't know each other from Ali Diamond. We know each other from your being the former brilliant editor of Policing Insight. It's set up now back in 2015, and so you did that editor role for a while, but throughout you've been itching to write your novel.
I have, after 20 years of writing about factual policing. Yes, I have an itch that I've been wanting to scratch forever, which is to write a crime novel. So yes, that's what I went and did. And
drawing on some experiences that you've no doubt had, because prior to your key role as editor of Policing Insight, you've been a teacher, you've been a CSI, so you've worked as a crime scene investigator for a number of years, for I think Devon and Cornwall police, is that right?
It wasn't actually.
It wasn't?
No, I did my training with Avon and Somerset, and I started my career at Avon and Somerset, and then I transferred to Nottinghamshire. Okay. And I did it in two separate forces.
But a deep love of this area.
Yeah.
Yes. And very much brought up in the area, so you know North Devon very well indeed.
Know it very well indeed. Yes.
Tell us a little, without giving away too much, about your inaugural novel, first novel for which the book launch party was last night.
Yes.
And so tell us about the novel.
Right. Well, as you rightly pointed out, it's set in North Devon, and that was very deliberate. I wanted to write a novel about a CSI, and I wanted her story to be set somewhere rural. And I grew up in North Devon, and I still live here today, and I decided that North Devon would be a fantastic setting to have a nice crime series. So it opens with a big murder trial that goes horribly wrong, because Ali Diamond, under questioning, realises that there's something corrupt has happened, and so she blows a whistle on corruption, and as a result of that, lots of people are sacked, but also the remaining colleagues refuse to work with her. So she gets kind of booted off a major investigation team that she's attached to and sent to work in deepest, darkest Devon, up in North Devon, where the crimes are quite minor until a very major crime happens, and she is once again thrust into the forefront of major crime scene investigation. Only what she doesn't know is that the killer is very, very close at hand and watching her every move.
And so, I've read the novel. I loved it. I was hooked from the first chapter.
Thank you.
And I think, for the benefit of those who've not yet read it, we'll avoid saying too much more about the plot. But absolutely corking first chapter. Loved that to bits. And it's got the colour. I'm just going to pan the camera around, because we may not see the entire glory here of North Devon. It's a former railway track that we're walking down.
Railway line.
Very green at this time of year, and but the book, the novel, has got the beautiful descriptions of North Devon. It's got the descriptions that no doubt draw on your experience of being a crime scene investigator, but it's got some wonderful characters. Some, nobody in our lives point me to a single person that's absolutely perfect in every respect. I've yet to meet them, and I'm certainly not myself. But it's the characters,
right,
and you know, drawing those out, and the characters in policing, and in certainly in my lives, you know, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and it's understanding the way that they tick, which provides no end of fascination in itself.
Absolutely, yes.
You enjoyed fleshing out those characters.
I did, on lots of levels actually. And Ali Diamond is actually a lone parent to a teenager, and I wanted to show the struggle of doing a really demanding role with shift work, to do that as well as you possibly can in a way that you're proud of what you've achieved that day, and to balance that against trying to raise a child, trying to be there for those important milestones in their lives, and you know, feeling that guilt when you miss those big events in your child's life. And really that's where her character comes from, that she's constantly having to make very difficult decisions as to, you know, trying to do her job and trying to parent her daughter, who's a little bit wayward in the book as well, which doesn't help. So that was the first thing. I really want to show the demands of the job and the human side of the job, actually, that you see the person in the uniform going about their job very professionally, but behind it is a whole set of circumstances that they are dealing with as well. So that was the most important thing to me, really.
Policing is itself hugely demanding on an individual. You know, it makes demands of character, it makes demands of time, it makes demands on time that you have for relationships with others. So one of the things I felt on reading the book was it picked up on the some of those tensions in policing,
yes,
the challenges that there are,
yes.
And that's not always the case. It's certainly it's difficult. I myself have never been a police officer, but I have worked 30 years seeing people in policing struggle, sometimes not with huge success, to come to terms with some of those challenges. You draw those out. You clearly like developing character.
Yes, yeah, and I think in that respect, what I also wanted to show really was that kind of pressure senior investigating officers are under to get a result quickly, to get a result given not the greatest budgets at their hand either. And so it's not that police officers are corrupt or do anything deliberately wrong. It's just that sometimes they are under just enormous pressures to make very quick decisions, and some of those decisions are the wrong decision. It's as simple as that. So that's also what I wanted to show, that kind of, it's interesting. I read a lot of crime, as you can imagine, and I read lots of wonderful crime novels, but they rarely talk about the budgets involved in policing and the impact a budget can have on an investigation. And when you're trying to wrap something up very quickly because you haven't got the budget to do that extra bit that you think you should do, but really you don't have the kind of the money to do it. I kind of wanted to show that as well, that you have a senior investigating officer whose heart is in the right place, but he is dealing with an enormous number of cases, juggling them all at the one time, and that's really when things can start to unravel sometimes. It may seem odd for me to say this, but I found it a book that was actually very sympathetic to policing. Yeah. And the reason I say it might seem odd is because you described the circumstances that led to Ali being ostracised. Yes.
Which, you know, certainly I believe and we hope is an example of one bad apple rather than the whole barrel being rotten.
Yeah.
So Ali's one facet of Ali's character, and I do think it worth touching on this, is that she has herself been subject to domestic abuse.
Yes, yes.
And so that certainly plays a key part,
yes, it does,
in her life.
Yes.
Policing, you know, is there picking up the pieces very often in people's lives. Also, of course, there are misogynists in policing itself, although I know much work is being done to address the way in which individuals and policing more generally in the UK looks to tackle misogyny.
Yes.
What thoughts have you got on that side of things, given that you gave Ali's character?
Yeah.
This is a key part of Ali's character.
Well, my thoughts on it are that it's just something we just haven't tackled, and we're still not tackling, if I'm really honest with you. You know, I've been writing in this area for over 20 years. I've been writing about violence against women and girls, and there are some amazing initiatives that do absolutely make a difference, but overall sometimes it feels like the progress has been glacially slow. And I think with Ali Diamond, what I wanted to do, first of all, I wanted to look at the vulnerability, not just of women in domestic abuse situations, but lots of people are vulnerable for lots of different reasons. And I wanted to show that. And I wanted to show that abuse can take lots of different forms as well. So you don't just have a physical abuse, you can have coercion happening, you have grooming happening. So that was actually really important to me. It's a really important theme. And you're right, she herself is a victim. And in fact, most of the people in the book are a victim in one way or another, actually. So yeah, that was my motivation behind that.
So Breakneck Point is out there. You can buy it in all good bookstores and online.
I hope so.
And book 2 is it's something that you've been working on.
Yeah.
So there is going to be a book 2.
It is a series. So I'm kind of giving the ending of book 1 away there.
Well,
but it is the
scarcely,
beginning.
but...
Yes, Breakneck Point is the first of a series of novels featuring CSI Ali Diamond. And so I've just completed book 2. You're correct.
So look, I'm just going to let's pause for a second, because here we have, so looking back, it's a tad difficult on this camera perhaps to appreciate what's in the distance, but there we have Barnstaple in the distance, a key link road, and then low tide here. And what river is this then?
This is the Tor. So this is the Tor estuary.
Yes.
Which will head out and also join the Bristol Channel. A little
Yes.
bit further down, you see the headland there. That's Staunton Sands.
Yep.
Headland.
That, from memory, features in the book.
Yes. It is a location in the book, and
So-
a location in many films, actually.
Is it now?
Yes, it is.
Again, not giving too much away here. There are names in the book that you've stuck to the original name, and then
Some of them, there
there's
is.
other names where you've the name
I
given is
fictionalised it,
fictional.
yeah,
Yeah,
there is,
absolutely.
there is,
So this, I can. I'm just hoping that it turns into a film at some point,
me too.
because the scenery, combining it with the
it's beautiful, isn't
CSI,
it?
would be quite something. Let's move on just a little further, and so I just want to move on to something quite separate now. And you have spoken publicly about this, and this is another piece of work that you're engaged in that relates to your grandmother's situation.
Yes.
And something that I had, until we first spoke about it some months ago, it had never registered with me, which is the Armenian genocide that took place roughly in, I think, 1915 or thereabouts.
That's absolutely correct.
Say a little bit more about that for me.
Well, so my grandmother was Armenian, and she survived the Armenian genocide. So she was born in a place called Harput, which is in modern-day Turkey. It would have been the Ottoman Empire then. And in 1915, a series of massacres began. An orchestrated attempt, really, to wipe out an entire nation of people, the Armenians, which led to the deaths of, well, we don't know, it's very disputed, but upwards of about 1.5 million people. And my grandmother was orphaned during that process. And as a baby, she grew up in an orphanage in Greece. The Greeks took a lot of the Armenian orphans in, and she was one of them. And she made her way in life from there, basically. But we don't know very much about it. She doesn't remember anything. She's unfortunately not with us anymore. And during the lockdown, I kind of started to revisit her story and kind of made it a mission to tell her story, because it's quite a remarkable one. And as you say, Bernard, you know, it's a deliberate kind of... The reason you don't know about the Armenian genocide is because it isn't spoken, because there have been, you know, quite serious attempts to undermine it and call it something else. So the UK doesn't recognise it as a genocide. Joe Biden last year recognised it as a genocide, which is a big moment in the lives of the Armenian diaspora. They're obviously all over the world now. And so that's kind of the situation in. But I'm kind of not really interested in the political side of things, so I'm really interested in my grandmother's story. So I'm currently researching it. and hopefully I will be able to bring it to fruition. And of course, now we have the terrible atrocities in Ukraine, and you kind of think, is this a story that's got any kind of relevance to modern day?
I did wonder that earlier this morning.
Things like that happening, and think actually,
the parallels.
Unfortunately, it probably does still have relevance for modern day. So, that's I'm immersed now, and that's a big project. That'll take me a good few years, I think.
So that's work in progress.
Absolutely.
We'll see another edition of Ali Diamond.
Yep.
Before that book on your grandmother and the Armenian genocide is completed. Well, let's again pause just here, because I am struck. So some very difficult matters that we've covered in this short walk. Domestic abuse, genocide, the links of certainly on the domestic abuse, into the plot lines of Breakneck Point. Now, bank holiday weekend awaits us. Yeah, another bank holiday weekend awaits us here in the UK in May. This is a perfect perfect opportunity, and I've read the book. You very kindly last night signed a copy to a relation of mine who is looking forward to reading it. There's the follow-up to come, and let's hope many more books in the meantime. So Tina Orr-Munro, thank you so much.
Bernard.
The
Thank you.
Breakneck Point, as I say, I'll make sure that the link is in the blurb. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for your support, Bernard, as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you. But I'm going to start with some thank yous. I really, really, really do need to thank Waterstones over there, because in-bookshop events haven't really resumed after the pandemic, and they're not happening very often, and I'm really, really lucky that the lovely people at Waterstones of Barnstaple have agreed to let me have the event here tonight. So that's my first thank yous. Go out to them. Now I'm going to take a big breath. Put it on granny accent. This is really, really overwhelming for me, because, and there are some writers in here this evening. Writers, we spend kind of weeks and months, in my case it's been years, tucked away in a bedroom, tapping away, and we never know if our words are ever going to be read by anybody other than our long-suffering spouses, who have conveniently disappeared. So for me to stand here and hold my book, which started as a couple of scrappy ideas and scrappy words and a bit of paper, and has been turned into a book by the lovely people at HP Stories, is emotionally really, really overwhelming for me, and I'm very grateful to be here. This is really a childhood dream of mine that has come true. It's only taken me 50 years, but I got there. I got there in the end. So thank you very much for that. The other thing that's really important for me is that I'm able to share it here with you all tonight. I would say that in this room tonight are pretty much all people that I love very dearly and are very important to me and very special to me. There's people here from my school days, big up convent girls. And there's people here from uni, and there are people here that have known me all my life, and there are people I have met more recently. And it is really special that you're here with me to celebrate the launch of my book. So thank you very much for that as well. I am nearly done. So just a little bit about Breakneck Point. It actually started live about 6 or 7 years ago, and those authors that you hear about, those overnight successes, I have to tell you they are very few and far between, and they're usually called Richard Osmond. The rest of us have to kind of labour away, and we get lots of help, we get lots of support. And so this started about 5 or 6 years ago, and it started as 2 ideas. One was that I wanted it to be about a CSI, because I thought everyone loves CSI. And the other thing is that I really, really wanted it to be set in North Devon, because I grew up in North Devon. Some of my happiest memories are here in North Devon. And before Anne Cleeves, the lovely Anne Cleeves, came along, there were no crime books set in North Devon, but there is now. And that was really special to me, that it was here in North Devon. So you know what? You can have CSI in Miami, but I'm rooting for CSI in North Devon. I have two more things to do. One is that hopefully this did happen, that to celebrate the launch, I'm offering someone a chance to have a character named after them in the second book. The second book is written, the first draft is written. I can tell you exclusively at the moment, it's called Slaughterhouse Farm. No guesses, no prize. To be honest with you, if you own a house in North Devon, I'd kind of sell up now because it's a murderous place to be living in at the moment. So anyway, book 2, and I'm kind of given the ending of book 1 away there, but book 2 is in production and is well on its way, and there are lots of characters up for grabs. So I'm hoping my son is going to appear,
Alice got it.
or my daughter is going to appear, and my mum, my lovely mum, Jan. So this is Jan, as you probably mostly know. Oh yeah, Mum. I'm going to pick you up first. So this is my mum and my dad as well, and both reasons why I have such a love of reading, and so do my 2 sisters who are here tonight, Nikki and Diane. I've also had a love of reading. We grew up in the middle of nowhere, but we benefited by the wonderful thing called a mobile library, which would appear outside our doorstep once a week, and my mum would ensure that we were on that mobile library. Love no money. You get a book, you get off. So I have my mother to thank for that. And Mum, I would like you to do all the time. Just Smith's here. Indeed, yeah, never with any money, never buying a book. Yes, Smith's down my library.
Tina, come on, we're going home now.
Right, Mum, you do the honours. Big old swell. Okay, so I need my glasses for this. Right. Willy Wonka. I'm joking. Oh. Okay, the person who will have a character named after them in book 2 is Bernard. Tim, I just had somebody complain. Just Bernard.
No, I mean, just the name Bernard.
Just the name Bernard. Okay. But do you know what? I have got an awful lot of characters going because it's in the early stages. So we'll do one more. So Bernard, you're in Slaughterhouse. I can't guarantee you're going to make it to the end, my love.
I'd say that's a certainty.
We'll do one more.
Page 2, then.
Page 2, absolutely.
Okay. And the second person is right. I know there are 2 people in this house tonight with this name, so it's after both of them, and it's Caroline. So I know we've got a Caroline. Can you give us a wave, Caroline? We've got Caroline there. Is that you? We got thanks, Alice. Oh, I'm so sorry.
3 Carolines. There's 3 Carolines. Will be the lead character.
Caroline's a great name as well. I've already got plans. There's 3 Carolines. Okay. I've just got one more thing to say. I owe you. How many did you? Thank you very much. If you bought the book, if you haven't bought the book, why not? Thank you. And if you have bought it and read it and liked it, I'd love it if you left me a review. It means so much to people like me, debut authors who are nobodies, to have reviews on the review website. It really does make a difference. Thank you very much for coming. I'm just going to go and sit in that corner, and if you'd like your book signed, I would be delighted to sign it for you. And please stay and have some more cake and have some more drinks. And thank you very much for coming over.